And the reason I asked about the gun laws because we get the worst part of this law or of this right. Okay. Nobody community suffers more from guns than Black men. We die at the hands of this so-called right more than anybody else. What up? What up? What up? This is your shadow band master, Mike the Philosopher, here with Sean B and Black Mellow. All right. And today is a interesting topic we thought we'd talk about. We thought we'd talk about gun laws. Why do we want to talk about gun laws? Because we had Takeoff, who just got taken out. We have a lot of violence we see in the streets. And, we thought it'd be a good time to really kind of talk about this because it is connected to the community in a lot of ways. What I want to know from y'all, all of us do practice, safety and gun ownership and things. We do participate in that. But what I want to know from y'all, let me start with you, Black. What I want to know from you, man, is what is your stance on the gun laws? Do you think that it's a problem? Do you think that it's where it should be, or do you think that that they need to up it more, and allow for more weapons? What do you think about that?
Well, I believe, and I know man has a right to protect his household and his life from any threat that he perceives as a genuine threat. So ain't no law that nobody else is going to decide for me that is going to supersede what I decide for myself, my household. So it don't matter to me what laws they come with. Laws were never made, especially as of late, to properly govern the safety of the people. They were, in my opinion, only put in place to lessen the security and the strength of the population of people that's being. So, with that being said, other countries have gone through phases where they have had the guns removed based off policies that was changed, and as a result, the government overran the people because they were rendered defenseless at that point. So even with all the laws on the books, in my opinion, criminals don't care nothing about your laws. That's what makes them criminals. Basically, they gonna get them anyway. So the bottom line for me, I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna hold me down and my family. I don't care what's on the books. They can do what they want, come up with what they want, but it's going to be ineffective, and it's just an overreach of governmental influence, in my opinion.
What do you think about that, Sean? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. As far as let's one thing at a time, right? So unfortunately, Takeoff was killed. Rest in peace to Takeoff.
R.I.P. Takeoff, for real.
That's hard. He was mad influential on the culture.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, stories like that happens all too often. Young African American or Black or however you want to label them, young artists. People go before their time. And I was listening to Breakfast Club, and Charlamagne the God said something to the effect of, people get online and they make a post saying RIP, we got to stop the violence, we got to get better gun laws. We gotta do better, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
But then shortly after, it's like nothing ever happened. And so, to address your question on how do I feel about gun laws and guns in its entirety, it's a complicated sore subject. Um, to give a little history, where did guns even come from? It came from, to my knowledge, Chinese New Year, right? So they had what was called gunpowder, and they used to have explosions with fireworks, right? This is how they celebrated their New Year's. To my current knowledge, Europeans, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not exactly sure, Russian, whatever, they saw that and was like, we can actually take advantage of this explosive power. So thus the invention of guns. So to be honest, I really don't like guns. I'm gonna just go on and address your question. I really cannot stand guns. The idea, the thought of them is so instant, right? Something so small, 9 millimeters in diameter, could take a life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and the unfortunate part about the real situation is that bullets don't got no name. So
Right.
what do I mean by that? All too often, you watch the daily news and you hear about a stray bullet. Now, maybe it's not as prevalent in today's time as it was maybe in the 90s or 80s, but stray bullets catch innocent people all the time. And so going back to the original topic, Takeoff wasn't even involved in the altercation. He wasn't even arguing. He wasn't fist fighting. That's what makes it so upsetting, right?
Yeah.
You just an innocent bystander get caught by a stray bullet.
Mm-hmm.
So what does that
Or
tell
was
me?
it
Well, I got theories. But to stick with the reality of things, I feel like if everybody got guns, people gonna be more hesitant to pull theirs because they know when they pull it, it's going down. He got one too. Like, don't get me wrong. There's countries that ban guns, and then going back to Black's point, then the citizens, the good people, right, who are not criminals, are affected by these laws where they're rendered defenseless, and it sucks, right? And so we put in these laws to say, hey, you're an upstanding citizen, you're of sound mind, you're capable of handling and deciphering, handling a firearm and deciphering in a situation if it's a threat or if it, you know what I mean? So we put these laws in place, but again, these laws didn't protect Takeoff.
Right. It didn't
These
protect
laws,
Takeoff.
no, and I guarantee you, the guy who shot Takeoff wasn't abiding by none of them laws. And so there was an interesting theory said to me, a while back, like, yo, if everybody had guns, it wouldn't even be a thing. If if it was almost like given to you as a birthright, like here's your birth certificate and your pistol. Do you know how low the numbers would be? Because, and it sucks to say that, but we have to go back to the very invention and the very mind that put it together to use this as a weapon, right?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm not sure if this was verified or not, but it was said that the Migos, I guess you could say bodyguards, is the one who accidentally shot him. Okay. He was trying to protect the Migos, and his bullet was the one, Takeoff. He was ducking, and then he popped his head up, and then the bodyguard caught him instead of the bad guy. I can't verify that. I don't know if that's 100%. I'm just saying that I've heard that he was caught by it was friendly fire, unfortunately. It wasn't
Didn't
even
he
That
get
was
Bobby.
hit more than once though?
Huh?
Didn't he get hit more than once?
I don't know, but the one in his head is the one that, you know, got him.
did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was hit more than once.
Mm.
Whoever accidentally did it more than once.
Well, there was a lot of gunfire. He must have been in the crossfire, so to speak. You know
In
what
the
I
line
mean?
of fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was standing back. He wasn't like the dude who was like what's the dude's name? Quavo. He was arguing. He was right in dude's face.
You
He
seen the
was right in his
video?
face.
You seen the
Yeah,
video? Yeah, yeah.
he was right in dude's face. Like they was, like he was right there. Takeoff was in the he was in the back. He was out of the way. He
Mm.
was out of the way. So
Yeah, but it wasn't his confrontation. So what are you trying to say though, Black? You think it
So
was
how would he
I'm
be
purposely?
just
in the
I'm
line
just
of fire if he was out the way?
how
That's the
you get hit
question.
more than once on accident, and you was out
If
of the
you out,
way, and it wasn't even you arguing. Like it's too many coincidences.
Yeah,
almost
And
like you were
and
targeted.
well, I
but
just know this looks familiar when you got an insurance policy on somebody on a group, right? And that group breaks up, unbeknownst to everybody. The group just boom broke up. They're in court right now,
Mm.
still breaking up. But the group broke up, so I mean that's a loss of funds for whoever's funding them, right? I'm just playing the
Mm.
advocate now. I'm just playing the advocate. I'm not saying nothing concrete, or I'm not saying it for sure. Like I know all the 100% facts.
Theories.
Like tired of, I'm tired of us finding stuff out that, oh, wait a minute, you mean tell me old boy had an insurance policy on that rapper, and he ended up there, and him too, and he ended up there, and him too, and he ended up shot? Wait a minute, that's a coincidence. Wait a minute, or is it a coincidence? It's just crazy. All of a sudden, within the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, this major rap group broke up abruptly, and then all of a sudden, a week ago, they dolo from dude, and now they trying to do their thing on their own, and he ends up being the quietest one. Now he was not the star of the group, but he was the one who put the group together. His uncle and his cousin was the other. Listen, man, I didn't even know dude's name. I couldn't tell you none of his bars or nothing, but he was actually the best rapper from what I hear from the kids. He was the best
Yeah.
rapper out of them. Everybody
Yep.
else was the ad lib dude. They go, they do whatever they mumble.
mm,
That's all they did was ad lib. But they were more popular. So you can rebuild with more popularity, with a more but him, he was the least popular, in my opinion.
how
You
you
know
how you
what?
gonna
I
be the
don't know.
least
That's
popular
arguable.
in the yeah? How you gonna be the least popular and the best rapper? It seems a
That's
little
Because,
odd.
arguable because
like I
actually, when
said,
I got introduced to that music, it was through a song that he was actually the star on. When Offset was in jail, Takeoff and Quavo did a song called "Rich and Famous." You're up to be rich and famous, rich and famous, and Takeoff killed it. Takeoff did the chorus, Takeoff did the first verse, and that's how I got introduced to. I can't lie, I did hear Versace on the radio, but I wasn't impressed. I was like, okay, this is another,
I think
one
my
of them.
intro was bad and bougie. That was my
yeah,
intro
that was
too.
my intro. But all I'm saying is this: as far as popularity goes, as far as being in the limelight, being all social videos, media,
Mm,
publicity, popularity,
yeah.
he was the one that you seen more than likely. He was the one playing dust off somewhere. He was the one quiet. He was the quiet dude of the group, is what I'm saying. Yes, he, of course, was
Truth.
popular because he was in that group and he was cold or whatever, from what they say, but he was the one that you always seen in the news, in the headlines, is what I'm saying. So I ain't taking nothing from him at all. Rest in peace to him. But at the same time, it's just another irony, another rapper dead, slaughtered, and it's they calling it an accident, a coincidence, or whatever. But he got hit more than once in this accident, and it's like how you hit a target more than once and he wasn't a target. That's crazy to me. But at any rate, I mean, maybe it was a genuine accident. Either way, man. Either way, listen. You can't keep putting these vibrations out there too. These cats rap about this type of stuff. They rap about, street life, shootings, Listen, you cannot keep putting stuff out there without it coming back eventually. Of course, then is when they do die, out of respect, we're gonna say rest in peace because we're respectful people. But like, come on, man, you rapping about death and street life, and you're gonna
Yeah,
come collect eventually.
but here's the thing, and I want to ask both of y'all this. Well, let me tell you my opinion about this.
Yeah.
I don't see this getting better. I don't see this getting
What is
better.
this?
This is rappers dying suddenly. This is black men dying suddenly. This is, and the reason I asked about the gun laws because we get the worst part of this law or of this right. Okay. Nobody community suffers more from guns than black men. We die at the hands of this so-called right more than anybody else per capita. Okay. So my whole view on it is we should get rid of guns, period. And I know some people say, oh, well, I'd rather have one than not have one. I get all of that. But when you look at per capita, who it affects the most in this country, it is black men. And a lot of times, even if we have one, even if we're registered, we could still catch one, okay, from a scared cop, whatever the case may be. We could catch one from each other, which is sad and disgusting. We can, even if we have one, we can end up going to jail. It is a tool used for our demise, as far as I can see. That's why I say get rid of the law, because is it affecting no one else more than it is affecting us. All of Nipsey, P&B, Pop Smoke.
But at the same time, man, you take our ability to protect ourselves, even legally, at this point, then I promise you, this entire society will be overrun with the worst types of law enforcement, governmental influence that you've ever seen in your life, because there will be no imbalances. The reason that we are who we are and why we are the way we are, we have a right to self-defense by way of bearing arms. So because that's a right, we are not governed like the communists over in other parts of the world where they don't have the right to protect themselves.
But they don't have the deaths. They don't have the death toll that we have, man. Who is affected most by this?
No, I understand the effect of it, but you got to understand, you can't put the genie back in the bottle now. He's already out. And what I mean is, basically, once you create an environment and a society of dependency on weapons, this is how they got this place with their weapons. These people live by their weapons. They're not going to ever put them down. So their own thing, they're making weapons right now, man, that just sound waves. They got sound wave weapons. This is their gift. Listen, man, this is their gift. Even if you took
he
all
will live by the sword.
Dude.
But the
Yeah,
thing
they're
is,
gonna
though,
live by it
man,
and die by it.
I know I get all of that, but at the same time, it ain't affecting nobody more than it is us. Why
Okay, so
should
let me
we?
ask this
So
question.
why
Let
should
me
we?
ask this
Why should
question.
we embrace it when it's to our detriment and to our
It's gonna
destruction?
Let
listen
me ask
because this
this.
ain't you ain't seen nothing yet. If they take all our guns, then we are over. We are over.
Our guns are not necessarily protecting us now.
Dude, it's gonna. I promise this. It will be over
They
for us
not
and
necessarily
everybody
protecting us
else.
now, man. Do you see what they did to Tulsa? They just dropped a bomb on it. Fuck it. They just
Yeah,
dropped a bomb on that.
yeah.
Why do you think they made projects? They made projects
Dude,
so they can put you in one area, and if they need to bomb you, they can bomb you. That's why they created projects. Let's put them all in one area. Let's put a red line
So,
around this neighborhood, because if
mhm.
we got to bomb an area, we're gonna go straight to that area.
So
They
you mean to tell
centralized
me
us.
you know they can do that, and you would feel comfortable without having nothing to go get them?
I'm not saying I will
You
feel
know that they
comfortable.
did
I'm not
that to your
saying I will
people,
feel
and you talk
comfortable
about
without
take all the
having
guns out
nothing.
your hood.
But what I'm saying is, we will not look. There is no group that has the worst mortality rate than black men in this country, and a lot of it is at our own hand. Okay, black on black,
Possibly, arguable.
possibly.
I'm
No,
gonna
no,
give it
that ain't even
arguably.
arguably. That's a fact. Okay,
You know how many?
so what I'm saying is,
You just
even
gave me a
even
solid
even just
example of
not
why we
to
should
do that to
never take the guns out,
ourselves,
though.
even to not to do that to ourselves. Look, I understand we will be more vulnerable. We will be more
They
vulnerable, but we won't be the only groups that do it. Everybody going to have to do it. Everybody going
all
to
right.
have to get rid of them. But
yeah.
right,
That
So
is a recipe for
let me
disaster.
address something right quick. Let me address something because y'all both said some key points. Let me go back to something right quick.
go
Right,
ahead, Sean.
you just said that this here United States of America, this government created projects to move a specific nation of people into a specific area. So just in case y'all get out of line, just in
Yeah, we can
case.
move in with
But guess
tanks.
what?
We can bomb them.
Guess what? Guess what was formed in them same projects? Going back to what we were speaking on earlier, GD4, BD4, all of that, right? And what we have gained through them groups forming and them groups having access to weapons, guns specifically, was civil rights. It took not only Martin Luther King peacefully protesting and taking them butt whoopings, but it took Malcolm X and then Black Panthers walking up on that White House like with them shotguns, like, listen, we gonna do this one way or another. We see how y'all did it. Okay,
I
y'all
hear that.
fought for y'all freedom for Great Britain. Y'all fought for y'all freedom from England. Y'all did the same thing. So guess what? Listen, y'all did this to us. Y'all moved us into this area. So it's only right, right? Like I can't go to sleep at night knowing that you could ride up on me and my whole family in this one area. Like that, I couldn't sit right with that. Like if they was
I
like, we
hear all
taking them
that,
out.
Sean. I hear all that, Sean. But what I'm saying is, it's not saving us now. We are still, believe it or not, we are still outgunned. Okay,
We have a fighting chance right
like
now.
10 to 1, we are outgunned right now, practically. Okay,
If that was the case,
and we don't even really have a lot of the expertise and the training that some of the other societies have. So it's not necessarily protecting us. You know what I mean? We it may feel like we're protected, but again, like I said, if you live in the neighborhood, you Pookie, you Ray Ray, or whatever, they know your areas. They know all the areas where you live at. Why do you think they have their people move to the suburbs? They want you in one central area. Okay, this is why they don't want you in their neighborhood, because they don't want to miss none
Man,
of you.
listen, man. Bottom line,
so
if somebody was to, God forbid, run up in your house or try to kick your door down in the middle of the night, listen, I'm gonna tell you, man, it's best you have a strap.
Listen,
Straight
I'm
up.
But
not. I'm not saying you
how it
shouldn't.
is, hold on though, but listen, also, the bottom line to me is they don't have to tell me it's a right that they're giving me. This is a God given right for any man to protect his household. So I'm it's not only a right, it's my duty and it's my job to defend my family. Bottom line. And as long as there is deadly weapons within reach of any other man outside of me in my household, then I need to be just as equipped as him because I know if he's targeting me in my household, he sees a vulnerability, he's going to try to overrun my house. I can't let that happen. Now, as far as black people goes and our direct victimization of gun violence is self-inflicted and is based off a lack of education of who we really are, how valuable and important we really are. There's no self-love being taught. We all demonize each other. It's popular now to call a thugged out dude a demon, and that's some pride attached to that. It's some street cred attached to that. If you can get your hands dirty in these streets and put in work on your own people, yeah, people boost you up. You go to prison for 10 years on a murder case and you get out, they're going to throw a party for you. But let's you say you start a business or do something credible or something respectful in your same neighborhood, and I bet you these people is not going to indulge in your business. They especially ain't going to throw you no party. So it's self-hate. That's the
I
real
know,
issue
Black,
to
but
why we killing
let
each
me
other.
ask y'all this question.
That
What is
don't
the?
mean we shouldn't have protection.
I know, but what is the number one cause of death for youthful black males? What is the number one?
It's abortion.
No, no, I'm talking about
It's abortion.
youthful. Not I know.
Yeah, you can't get
No,
more youthful than a
I'm talking
newborn.
about people that are alive. As far as you know, I should say teenagers. What is the number
Well, it's
one?
a medical.
No,
Dying in a
it's
doctor's
guns,
office.
man. It's guns.
No, it's dying in the doctor's office. Look it up.
No, it's the
Going to the
guns.
hospital. They kill more than
I'm not
100,000
saying.
people.
I'm not saying. I said what's the number one. I didn't say that's not happening.
Malpractice.
Huh?
Malpractice kill more than gunshots.
No, man. Listen, the number one cause for the mortality rates for black men is guns. We got Kamal Risto in
I
the house.
disagree.
Ski, what's good with you?
It's the word.
All right, man. The word is,
Shalom, shalom.
gun laws, man, and how they affect the community. What do you think? Since Takeoff just got taken out, what do you think about guns in this country? Do you feel they are necessary? Do you feel like they should get rid of them? Do you feel like they should allow more? Do you think that they should have some type of alternative, immobilizing like a stun gun or something? What are your thoughts about it?
That's well, I mean, just not just the Takeoff thing. You gotta just think about all of the little innocent babies that got hit by stray bullets and all of that stuff.
Right.
You know, your guns they're not necessary. That was never necessary. You know, but they became something important for people. For these it's called gangsters or organizations. To be on top. That's power. The military. The U.S. is known for its military and its power because of the guns and tanks and missiles and shit like that. So
Right.
none of it is not. It's not necessary. It's not at all.
Yeah. So you don't feel like they're necessary. So I mean, I was saying that they don't affect nobody more than they affect black men in this country. They are used as a bit of military and control. And really, Nobody has been affected by that more than black men. For that reason, I feel like we should get rid of guns because it's literally killing our community, whether it be at the hands of somebody else or even amongst ourselves. It's killing our community. Now, Black, his thing is he needs to protect his family. He needs to protect his home, and I get that. Because I'm built that same way. But what I see, I tend to look at the overall picture more than most people, I would say. Always looking at the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is it's not doing us much good as a community. And you got people like Takeoff, a lot of guys, PNB, Pop Smoke, Nipsey Hussle. You got all these guys, Young Dolph. You got all these guys getting taken out, and it only affects us. And it seems to be a lot of the wealthy too. So what happens is our guys get to a wealth standard, and then they get taken out. I don't care if it's hood rich or it's hip hop rich, they tend to get taken out due to jealousy, due to maybe some other conspiracy or other avenues that we're not privy to. But it seems like there's an agenda, and that's the main way we get taken out. What do you think about that?
Pastor Page is running office, and the elite division wants to vote.
Yeah, that's true. But that's what they say. If you're gonna fight your war, you can't go into a gun battle with a knife.
Yeah.
Everybody got
And
guns now, so yeah, I can understand that. You want to have one because everybody got one now. Back in the days, that's before the guns came out, that's what they had. They had swords.
Yeah. And that's kind of what Black was saying, that the genie is out the bottle now. So it's something we got to live with. And I kind of get that, but at the same time, it's like, it can't go on like this forever. It can't. This is not the solution. It's just not the solution. We're going to end up wiping out everybody who's prevalent and wiping out anybody who's making progress in our community, either through other means or through ourselves. We're just going to end up wiping out any progress. Like wiping out people who are that influential is like wiping out Black progress, Black excellence. And all because we're scared that the next man got a gun. At what point are we going to and that this is not just for Black men, this is just for the country. At what point are we going to stop being cowards and go back to fist fighting like it used to be? That's where we used to be. It was more fist fights. You get in the fight, you handle your business, and then you chop it up the next day. It wasn't all of this, I'm such a coward, I got to go pull my pistol out just because of a dice game. I mean, you got to look at how it used to be. It wasn't always this bad, and it's getting worse every day. It's getting worse.
That ain't Public Enemy and X-Clan and Slick Rick rapping no more. It's Migos and Young Dolph.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, but at what point do you say, okay, enough is enough? Because you see the trajectory is taken. You see it getting worse. You don't see it getting better.
That's what they telling them. Pick up them guns. Listen to Gucci and Migos and Young Dolph. They got guns.
Oh,
They telling them, go
let's
get
talk
guns.
about it. Let's talk about something that's not Black on Black violence, right? The story of Trayvon Martin and the laws that was, I guess you should say.
Get closer to the mic, Sean. Get closer to the mic.
Can you hear me?
Barely,
You
man.
hear me?
Barely. Get closer to the mic.
I was saying how you brought up gun laws and
Yeah.
how the story of Trayvon Martin made a specific gun law nationally recognized. And that's the art of self-defense, and how some states have it, some don't. But regardless of none, pretty much everybody is on guard and on edge because they feel the need to protect themselves, because we are in a time where everyone does have firearms. So going back to your question of, could we put this genie back in the bottle? Could we go back to fist fight? Because we can't do that, the only thing we can do is prepare for basically everyone having it. Like, you know?
Well, let me tell you something. That is going to be the cause of this country's downfall. I mean, that's going to be one or the other. It's either going to be because of the money, or it's going to be because of the weapons. It shouldn't be where you're in a 24/7 war zone all the time. Who wants to live in a 24/7 war zone? Like, for real. If everybody's armed like military, who wants to live in that?
Another advance.
I know I don't. If I wanted to do that, I'd go to Ukraine or something. It's just ridiculous. We got to get to a point as a community where we say enough is enough. And I'm not saying just us. Let me be clear. I'm not saying just us. I'm talking about us as a country, because I would not even ask brothers to put their guns down if they're the only ones who got to do it. That's just insane. I'm saying that us as a country should be putting our guns down and coming up with alternatives. As much science as it is out there, there are other means to disable somebody without lethal, repercussions.
Because that's all they're talking about, the rappers.
Yeah, that's all they're talking about, and that's all who gets signed, because we're rats in the hamster wheel, rather. Okay, we're hamsters in a hamster wheel. We keep churning out the products that everybody else need. Sign a rap contract, other people get money. Go to jail, other people get money. Get an attorney, other people get money. Get a bail bondsman, other people get money. We are the hamster in that whole wheel. And while we're going in that whole wheel, everybody's getting paid and we get crumbs. But we keep everything going. That's why everybody places us in that wheel, because we make all of them money.
But that's partially what the fight with Kyrie and Kanye is right now too, simultaneously.
Yeah,
calling all them cats out, for their system they put in place to infringe on freedoms and contractually even arrest, the chosen ones. So that's what the whole situation is about. Different topic, dealing with guns, but it's still, oppression is always a more deadly weapon, so.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like this place is becoming more and more of a war zone, man. And it is to, especially our detriment. What do you think that, I know you were saying that, you can't put the genie back in the bottle, Ski, but what do you think if you had to vote on this subject, what would you vote? Would you vote more guns? Guns are okay. Get some, alternative methods, or get rid of guns altogether. What would you vote?
Yeah, I'm kind of in the air with that one. I mean, yeah, I think they only good for hunting purposes,
Right,
but
right.
Frame now, it's they weapons, they're weapons of mass destruction for real.
I mean, yeah. I mean, who wants to raise a family in the war zone? Really, that's what you would have to do. What about you, Sean? What would you do? What would you vote?
Remember at school. We gotta hang out as friends.
All right, I'll go to you, Black. What would you vote?
Well, I mean, if you take away all the doggone guns out
Yeah,
of the
hold on, Sean.
military,
We'll get back to you. Hold on, Sean. Go ahead, Black.
if you take all the guns out of the military, you take all the guns out of the police force and all that.
Right, right,
I say it makes sense for me to go on and get rid of mine
right,
too.
right,
But
right.
if as long as there's high powered rifles and law enforcement has all these $1 billion budgets, well, if you do $1 billion militarized budget with ample weapons, and we see what they do with those weapons, and they toward the people they're supposed to protect. You know, if that's gonna be the standard, y'all gonna keep y'all's, then I gotta keep mine. It only makes sense.
Exactly.
You're not going to infringe upon my freedoms. You know, nobody can just, you know, my God-given right and duty to protect my own family. I don't give a damn. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm not going out here advertising nothing. I'm not looking for problems. I ain't in the streets trying to, you know, I ain't running nothing up. I'm just saying, as far as my front door and the people that I hold dear here, you know, somebody run up, you know, they're gonna be met with, you know, they're gonna be met with something. That's all I'm saying. And I have that God-given right. Nobody can give me that right. No man that put drawers on one leg at a time, just like me, can give me that right. This is a God-given right and a duty to protect my family. So if the means of doing that is with a deadly weapon that has been used out here in these streets by police officers or by criminals or whoever wishes to do me harm, if you got a pistol, I can't come with words. I can't hurt your feelings so you can drop your gun. I gotta meet you with the equivalent, or I gotta exceed that in order to defend my family. That's how I feel about it.
Well, I mean, okay, but what if you were at the polls, man? Which one would you poll? What box would you check?
Well, obviously, it'll be to keep it, because if you're not, like I said, if you're not gonna get rid of all of them, it don't make sense for me to just disarm myself. That's goofy. That's how you overrun a government. That's how you overrun the people. The power is supposed to be with the people. It's power the people, not power to the agents that put in office are bidding on our behalf.
Okay, but
which is what we getting to.
But the vote is for everybody. It's for the country. Okay,
everybody.
It's not, yeah, it's for the country.
Yeah, everybody. I'm with that.
I'm talking about
everybody. Put them down.
Everybody. Right. Everybody put them down, including the government.
I'm with that. I'm with that. I'm with that.
Okay. We got a new guest in. CC is in the building. Are you there? Can you speak? I don't know. I can't hear her. Well, go ahead, Sean. What are your thoughts about that? What would you?
Hello?
Yeah. I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The topic is gun laws. With Takeoff just being taken out. What is your view on gun laws? Would you want them to be eliminated? Would you want them to be modified? They're okay the way they are, or add some more? Be armed to the teeth. What is your opinion about gun laws? And if you had to vote on what to do with gun laws or guns, what would you vote for? Hello, did you hear that? I guess we lost her. Go ahead, Sean. Answer that question. Okay, I don't know what's going on with them two. But anyway, that's just how I feel about it. I just feel like they should really reconsider, because it's getting worse. It's just getting worse. It's getting to a point where we have to get to a point where we say enough is enough. And I think we should have said that a long time ago. There are a lot of innocent people who are suffering from that, and all too often they are in our community. And I feel like um that's not by accident. That's really not by accident. I mean, you will have some people who will put masks on and go in neighborhoods and spray up a place just to spark more gang rivalries. And there'll be a melanated mask on. I'm not necessarily accusing nobody of nothing, but
I will. Y'all know who y'all is.
yeah. Some might say some agents out there. I don't know, but and the reason I say it is because I seen somebody on TikTok who was saying that was happening. That there were agents who were going out there putting on melanated masks, spraying them up, and getting a gang wars back started up, and it's to our detriment. And then we go out there and we use our tools that they give us to start eliminating each other. It's like we're kind of being suckered into
killing each other.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, y'all pretty much summed up my vote. I mean, if everybody put them down collectively, then put them down. But because I know what this country was founded on, because I know how my people got here to begin with, I know that'll never happen. But y'all said something interesting when y'all said mass destruction. Mass, M-A-S-S. That's the same premise that George Bush went to Iraq and Afghanistan and all them countries, right? Oh, they have weapons of mass destruction. But, in science class, they teach you that your weight, your body mass, what you weigh is mass. So when you talk about mass destruction, America is full of weapons of mass destruction. But, I digress.
Well, when they, just to be technical, when they say mass, they're talking about a massive amount of, deceased people. So when you're talking weapons of mass destruction, it's massive destruction. It's not mass.
Again, we have more nuclear silos than any other country. We have more, you know what I mean? So yeah. But I digress.
I don't know if guns are mass destruction. They're singular destruction. They're not mass, but collectively they mass. Collectively they mask. I don't know. CC, can you hear me? I don't know if she can hear me.
I'm sorry. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm in and out on that.
Yeah, I can hear you now, though.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about that topic?
Gun law?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know what all y'all covered so far.
We were just covering what our thoughts about, protecting ourselves and Takeoff just got taken out. So, we were speaking on how the laws of, bearing arms is affecting our community, really. So
I just feel like if we can come up with a way to I don't know. I feel like everything is fine the way it is now, but I also think that we should find a way to bring some type of education, more education on not just how to use the guns, but just I don't know. I feel like there should be. I don't know. I don't really. I'm not really the person to talk to about this because.
Right.
I don't really think that anything with the gun law should change, but I just feel like it's all individual based,
Yeah. Yeah, it is individual based. A lot of people, they'll look at their situation and come to a conclusion, and there are people who will look at the big picture and then come to a conclusion, and those two things can be two different things, you know.
Yeah, that's different for everybody.
Yeah, now if you're looking, within yourself, then you're saying, I better have one because everybody else got one. But if you're looking at the big picture, you're saying, okay, well, it's affecting Black men the most, and some of us going to have families and things like that, and we want to make sure our sons and even daughters for that matter are safe. I mean, it's not cool to live in a war zone. You will always be stressed out.
I feel like you either gonna be in a war zone or you gonna be an oppressed people.
Or you gonna be what?
If you an oppressed people, if you do not have the right to bear arms and to defend yourself, you are forced by a people with those weapons telling you what to do.
Yeah.
There is not a single country on this planet, whether they allow their citizens or not, that do not have guns. Right? Like they at least got guns, whether they got big bombs.
There's not you said there's not a country
that exists that does not have a military.
Military. Well, I'm not saying a military, but there are plenty of places that don't allow guns.
Right.
And you don't see a tenth.
How you gonna say?
You don't see a tenth of the violence. You don't see a tenth of the deaths that the United States see. You don't see it. And this is the thing. People think it's impossible to get along in a country without guns. No, it's very possible. They're doing this in other countries. Why? Because they wasn't stupid enough to hand weapons to their citizens. I mean, that's just, look, I know that's, a very, aggressive opinion about it. But in my opinion, it was stupid to hand weapons to citizens.
You got to think, though, when you're going to draft people to fight for you, again, look at the founding of this country, right? They had to fight for their freedom from Britain. When Britain
but that was we're so far from that, though.
What I'm saying is when you draft people and even go to Vietnam, right? You draft people and you put weapons in their hand. You got grown men, like, bro, you made me fight for you. What I look like giving you back this rifle?
Well, that's when you go. That's when you go and train. That's when you go in basic training and you learn how to do all that stuff. But you, as a citizen, you shouldn't. That's not a skill you need to know. If you're not in active military, again, I know what you're saying. When the country was started, they needed to know all that. We're so far from that right now. We're so far from that.
Vietnam was just in the
I know, but Vietnam
50s, 60s?
But they had training camp. That was military.
So those grown men that fought for this country are now citizens, is what I'm saying. Yeah. So those same citizens would not be going if you tell me, look, I fought for you 40 years ago. Now you telling me I can't have my rifle? Yeah. This is what I got you your freedom with. Now I can't have my
and
rifle?
I handed it to you so we can get that freedom. But in society, in normal society, you don't need it.
Yeah.
You don't need it. What do you need to bring that mentality and that weapon into normal society for? For what?
I wish that was the case, but I mean, when you go back to, like you said, those should only be for hunting purposes. Even with hunting purposes, people use that law, right? Oh, an 18-year-old could go get a rifle. A 12-year-old in today's time with their parents' guardianship, with their, being present, they could go get a hunting rifle. A 12-year-old.
Yeah, I know, and that's the part of the game that's messed up.
And so then what we get? Columbine.
Yeah, that's what we get.
Yeah.
We get Columbine, and we get all these other random. Something happened in Vegas not that long ago, a couple years ago. Guy just opened his window out and started, letting loose. It's just, look, if you have a society that has mentally challenged people, and what I mean is just like mental health, they have the power to destroy many lives just because they have a mental disorder. Why? Why would this country allow for that type of scenario to even be possible? Why? Because you scared of the next man?
No, because that was the premise we were founded on. I mean,
But
they
that's
literally
we
had
done.
to.
But we done with that. We done with that, Sean. There are plenty of countries
After
that's
that,
been founded,
after
and
that, they created those amendments and they created that constitution.
well,
And
that
so
is
after we were
completely
founded,
dumb, because I'm gonna tell you, there are other countries out there that have been founded that have gone through wars for their independence, and they still don't move the way that we're moving.
so
Now,
what wouldn't you
if I
say this
want to be
country is moving like?
if I'm
They
gonna
live by
be
the sword?
honest, I really feel like the main reason these laws exist is because black folks is in this country. That's the real reason why these laws still exist. Because let me tell you, if black people wasn't here, they would have gotten rid of this law. They would have. You look at other Finland. They don't have such laws. You look at other European places, they don't have this. Like, if this whole country was just European, they wouldn't have this law. They only have it because there is a number of different people that's in this country. So in order to have, I guess, some sense of security, they have to have this law to keep control. They scared of the overthrow. That's what it is. That's the real reason behind the law, because they don't do this in other European countries. They just don't. So what's the best ways to keep the Negroes in order? Keep this law.
Well, they don't got them laws in Africa. You can't go to Africa with your strap.
You're right. They don't have. But here's the thing: when you're surrounded by people who look like you think this is a stupid ass law. Okay, but when you're in a country and you have a whole bunch of other groups and religions and races and things like, and you're trying to keep control of everybody, you would have this law. This is not about security. This is about control. This is about control. And guess who is the people who are trying to, stay under control? I'll just let you guess. But we've been born and raised and brought up in this environment, so we think this is normal. You go around the world, you don't see this. You go around the world, you don't see this.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I hate it.
It's been normalized in our brains, in our heads, because we've been born and raised here. But it's dumb in other countries that we do this. When I was a small
child, I wondered about this. When I was a small child, I wondered, like, how guns, where did they come from? And like I said, going back to the invention of fireworks, it was like amazing to me, because it was like, okay, so somebody harnessed that power and used it as a weapon. I mean, similarly, somebody harnessed the power of an explosion and created an engine motor. So, I mean, I guess, take it from it what you will, sort of say, but I mean, it sucks, but genie is out the bag. So it's like,
I guess the genie's out the bag. But the thing is, if you were real prevalent in slavery, right? How would you actually keep them under control? You have to have guns.
Yep.
You have to have guns. You ain't physically stronger than those folks. You ain't physically stronger than them. You ain't more genetically or physically gifted more than them. You're not. So you have to control them in some kind of way, and that precedence is what keeps these laws going to this day. Keep the Negroes in order.
Man.
And to the point where we've taken on, we grow up with that mentality, and we
do the dirty work.
We do the dirty work for them in a lot of ways, because poverty begets violence. If you're poverty stricken, you're gonna find a way to eat, hell or high water. So what you do, I always found it fascinating, man. Poor people got more access to guns than they do food. They got more. It's like, how in the world you got? Some of the poorest thuggish dudes, they strapped. How was that possible? They strapped, but they can't feed their family though. It's just crazy, man. But anyway, anybody else got something to say about that? Black Ski?
Man, you already know, man. Listen, weak cast is gone. This whole society is weak.
Facts.
When you living in a weak society based off weak people, I mean, they pushing it all through the films. Every movie that come out, they got somebody holding up a strap. All the music, they pumping it and promoting it through the music. Ain't no way around it. This is a gun culture. So you ain't gonna escape, guns and whatnot just by a good idea that we shouldn't have them. Because as long as one person got them, the next man gonna want them. So, and ain't nobody finna roll up, on my household, with no gun, and I'm gonna meet him with a handshake. Nah, he gonna be met with force. That's just what this society has produced. So it's too late, and that's the analogy saying before. You can't put the genie back in the bottle, man. That's over with. Now it's a cultural thing where you got to educate people on value, because too much is given, much is required. If you can't give a man power that ain't used to having power, it's gonna go to his head. He's gonna abuse that power, and on that, abuse people. So if you give a weak dude a gun, he's gonna feel empowered. Eventually, he's gonna look for reason to utilize that power, so he can build his self-esteem up in his measure of force. So bottom line, although if everybody, including the military, the police, if everybody laid the guns down, I'll be willing to lay mine down. If they ain't willing to lay theirs down, because this is how they protect this country, then I got a right to protect my whole and my family and me and mine. So I ain't laying mine down either. Now, I'm not going out and initiate no contact just because, but it don't even make logical sense at this point in time to lay your pistol down just because you believe it's a good thing for our community to have. It will make no sense to me.
Let me give you on a true live example, right? In New York and in California, I have a firearm. Hello, can y'all hear me?
Barely, man. You going out. You're going out, but I can hear you though.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Hello?
Yeah,
that's still hear me?
That's better.
Yeah,
That's
you
better.
good.
Yeah, I said in New York and in California, it's not legal to own a firearm. But let me give you a twist on the law that they do have. In California, and I'm pretty sure all over the nation, I'm not sure about New York, but it's not illegal for you to create or machine your own firearm. Imagine that. So where you create a law saying, hey, you're an upstanding citizen, blah, 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 you cool, or you're not, right? You have a whole bypass where you can still create this
thing of destruction. And that's why I had to bring up the whole invention of fireworks, because it's like, even if you were to say, hey, I want to take this all the way, everybody give them up, throw them out, we're gonna, melt them down, what have you, the knowledge is still a thing. And you got criminal minded people, or just people who are just paranoid for their safety, who will go to those extreme measures to make sure that they have this defense tool. And it totally sucks. I hate it.
I think only way, man, I think the only reason the subject matter is even what it is because we are a community that only seem to kill the people who look like who look like us. If we was the type of community that had knowledge of self, that value what we saw in the mirror and whatnot, like if we kept it real with each other, like, and we were just targeting who we call our ops, people cross the street, down the block, round the corner, that look just like us, that we grew up with. If we didn't target those people murder on a daily basis, then we probably would feel a lot different about even having a gun. Because if we was using them the right way, we probably wouldn't see half the cop killings that we've been seeing, with people having their hands up and us being abused by every society, you can think of in our communities, the Arabs, doggone Asian people, Jewish people, for that matter, of course, the Caucasians.
Y'all seen how close we got with Trump? We got really close.
Close to what?
How many of y'all think that this place is a ticking time bomb?
No, it definitely.
I'm talking about with religious and with racial, hostilities. We got real close with Trump. He caused the Capitol to be raided. Okay, and there are some people out there who just can't wait for the war to start. You see what I'm saying?
Dude, understand, man. Them people over there, them non-melanated people over there, them non-copper tones, they was given a gift, man. They was stripped down. They don't have no protection from nature, right? So have inordinate affections and desires, and they one desire to kill. That's why they the best hunters. They love hunting, and they love trophies from their hunting. They're murderers by default. That's the gift that they was given even in the Bible. So they come up with different ways on how to kill. So you got to understand, man. Yes, it's a ticking time bomb, because when you disrespect, the coldest people who ever walked the earth, and they don't retaliate, that don't register to you. So you always have a natural suspicion of those people you victimize because they haven't retaliated yet. So they are sitting back and preparing and waiting to be retaliated on. That's why when they approach our car, they so scared. And they like, oh, I'm fearing for my life, because you already know that you got it coming. I'm supposed to pop your top. You already know that. Yeah, you know that. But because we have the ability to use discretion, we have a nature about us that's humane. We do not respond. We do not treat them like they treat us. We only look in the mirror based off what they have programmed in us, and we utilize that anger on each other. Yeah. So that's the issue. Yeah, it's a ticking time bomb.
What do you think about that, Ski?
Yeah, I didn't really catch that.
You got some music in the background too, man. I don't know what that is.
I didn't catch that.
He was just saying that. Well, let me ask you: Do you feel like this country is a ticking time bomb with all these weapons, all these guns, and then you have uprisings like Trump? Do you think this country is a ticking time bomb?
Uprisings like Trump. Well, yeah,
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, that's what we have now. Like I told you before, those weapons are mass destruction. You know, guns.
Mm-hmm.
You can it's just like if a kid go to a school, you know.
Yeah, it's like little kids. I know. I remember there was this one guy, this one little. Well, I wouldn't say he was little, but he was a young man, and he was in Wisconsin, and there was like a Black Lives Matter protest, I think it was, and he ended up shooting somebody. It wasn't nobody black, but he just, I mean, his parents took him to get the gun. They let him take the gun with him to the protest. It's just like, when does it stop, man? I just feel it's a ticking time bomb that's really going to end in disaster. And honestly, I don't want nobody I love to be in this place when that happens, because it's gonna happen. You know, so but we'll end it there. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. Put it in the comments what y'all think. And we will catch you in the next one. Peace.